How's everybody doing tonight? Got your two dads back. Uh, Mike's finally back from his jet setting.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're back to our normal stuff. We've got Monday footage to go over. Turns out not much in the way of competition from this past weekend that we thought there'd be. Nobody wanted any of Luke's smoke at the competition, and the boys didn't go out and tear it up this weekend either. So
You have the dad shirt on. You're right.
yeah, he's got his dad
Straight
shirt,
from
his
work.
New Balances on.
Yeah. Dude, I wish. They're so comfy.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So let's see. Let's get into our Monday footage. 2 Christmases. All right.
I hadn't trained with Cam in a minute. Like,
Yeah,
this was my first time, since he came back.
he
So,
ran out to meet you on the mat there.
He did.
It's fun rolling with him now more. I mean, it's always fun rolling with the kids, but like Cam started wrestling and all this stuff, so he's got some more grappling experience under his belt from a different sort of study. So it's cool to see him trying to work that and improve it at the school as well.
Yeah, he was trying to cradle me here, and I think he forgot that he was giving up his back.
Yeah.
So like he reaches back, and as he's starting to pass, he gives me this underhook, right? He goes straight into a headlock, and then as I'm hiking my leg up, I'm really just trying to get hooks in, right? And he goes around to like grab my leg and try and crunch me in, and I'm like, cool, I'll just continue to take you back.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
We don't stop at the pin here, so.
Nope.
Do you own a pair of cargo shorts, Mike? I feel like you know
Me?
better. Yeah.
I do not. No,
Yeah,
I don't know cargo
you know
shorts.
better. 8th grade season starts October 4th. All right, sick. I definitely want to see some of their matches, and I would actually, man, if my schedule
Heck yeah.
permits, I'd love to go watch some of their stuff live instead of catching the recording. I'm excited, dude. I'm so stoked for their season this year, just based off what they've done over the past few months. Even with us, they both
Totally.
just seem like so fast and explosive. It's gonna be awesome. I wanted to look at this exchange with Tyler and Joe right here. So Tyler goes down on a really low single, basically an ankle pick, but picks up the ankle, puts it in his pocket, just about. Joe brings it in. Looked like Joe was looking for like a not quite a Tomonagi, just like a hook sweep over the head, but then switches into this Arimi, which is a nice plan B. Just got to get the knee pushing one way or the other. So for Joe, I would keep the Achilles grip here. That grip up at the knees probably not going to do you any favors. But now without the Achilles grip, we see Tyler's able to get his heel back. He gets his base back. Now he's into a top half guard and can get to work. Meanwhile, Danny's being very stubborn and not letting me take him down. Which is super annoying. Yeah, please do. Please do. If I know ahead of time, it'll make it a lot easier for me to try to get out there. So working in half guard week, should be keeping an eye out for what you guys are doing in half guard on this footage. Tyler wasn't a good. Remember, like I think you've probably heard us say it numerous times. Half guard's a great place to work your passing. So if you could force yourself there, you can make a lot of things happen. If body lock passing, loose passing isn't working for you. Kind of looks like you're doing that right now.
Yeah, I'm
Kinda
not
sort
body
of
locking
like,
him. Yeah, I've got a I'm doing kind of like a tight waist type of pass.
God, Danny annoyed me so much right here. So I end up snapping, Russian tie, and then as he reaches over, circle behind him real quick. So Russian tie, he comes over. But then he immediately sits, and he reaches up on my neck like this. And, like, it wasn't threatening. I just couldn't get his grips off of me well enough to, like, posture back. And I'm like, all right, I'll just fight from bottom. I'm not, you know, it's the first round. I'm not going to, like, strain my neck much. And he keeps me here for a while. It was a good reaction on his part. I'm upset that it worked. I think all of you guys pretty much smashed me this night. This was definitely one of my least fun nights in a while. Looks like Tyler's made his way to mount. Let's see what we got there. So a little knee cut pass. Beats the knee. Joe's got lots of room there. He could have brought his knee in. I think he's letting Tyler work a bit. Tyler's got the shin pin and the underhook, which is excellent if you want to pass to mount. Yeah, Coop, you probably would have given me a lot of trouble. I wanted to murder all of you. Don't get me wrong.
I had every intention to do so.
Yeah, my body just wasn't up for it. My mind was all in, but my body was not feeling it. Tyler on the armbar. So I really want to see Tyler's legs engaged here. This is good. Starting to come out the side. Good. Looks like he got it. I think he could get it a little earlier. Just, you know, when you get to this position, this is where I want to see both legs engaged. This one's looking a little lazy right now. I'd like to see it up closer to this one. And then I really want to see the heels digging back, digging down. That's going to not just control your partner's or influence your partner's posture. It's going to bring your hips up as well, deeper into the, like towards the armpit, towards the shoulder, and pull the elbow further into the danger zone, right past the hips. With those lazy kind of legs and not engaged legs, it becomes a lot easier for your opponent to create some space. Like we can see a little bit of daylight right here. I think all that could be taken up, and Joe would be in a lot more trouble a lot sooner. Oh, did you get put down?
Oh yeah, from the a dummy sweep, but I pinched my knees, kind of like what we talk about, and I actually wound up in better position. So I'm trying to break the guard, trying to get out of the closed guard. Cam immediately hits that dummy sweep. He had me, you know, my posture was really really well controlled. He was doing a fantastic job. And so I was really just trying to get my posture back. See, I'm bent over pretty bad. And then he immediately switches to this dummy sweep. But I'm just very confident in being able to keep my knees pinched together. So when he goes to stand up, he cannot get his legs behind him in order to get into like a staggered stance at all. So I pinch my knees. I actually take his legs and push him over, you know, up and over to the side to where he can't get up anymore. And I come around immediately for the pass.
Yeah, this is that variation where I recommend it if you guys aren't too familiar or comfortable with leg locks. That's the other thing you could do here. Just use that as a guard passing position as opposed to a leg entrance. Start working on a plan for hockey and BJJ. All right, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about you getting stronger. I like you skinny. I like you light. For my benefit, not for yours. But yeah, I think the Go Mad diet, the gallon of milk a day at your age. Actually, I can't in all seriousness recommend that to anybody. I feel like that's effective,
Peanut
but
butter and jelly sandwiches.
somehow dangerous advice. Maybe that's just my own. I don't know. I still drink a whole bunch of whole milk, but I don't know if I can do a gallon a day. I could crush some PB and J's for sure, but
Dude, peanut butter and jelly, that's where it's at. That's the only reason. That's the only way I could drink the milk, was if I had.
really.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
All right, let's see. Everybody's coming in on this one. Got Luke and Jordan over here. Let's see how they get. Luke kind of goes in on an arm drag, ends up with an overhook though, and then hits a Sumigashi for the takedown. Braden playing really tight inside. This very tight overhook turned into like a Russian tie on me.
Is on for me. Pat is he's got this tight waist grip. He's really trying to body lock past me. So he's got his right arm is tight waist, and then he actually, I didn't even notice that he switched up to a high trap grip. But this was very threatening passing from Pat. I was doing everything I could to try and isolate an arm, look for a Kimura, control that far side, and keep his head kind of where I wanted it to be, you know, on the same side as him trying to pass.
Yeah, his pressure is really good here. Like he's got the hip under control, but he's pressuring diagonally to the far shoulder.
Yep.
Doing a really good job keeping you flattened out. Oh yeah, Braden hit me with a really, really nice overtie trip here.
Oh, that is nice. Yeah.
I mean, like that's ever since we went over that with them like months ago. I kind of forget that they look for it a lot, but yeah, right here is really nice switch to the overtie. I just more and more I love the overtie as a counter hand fighting position. So coming up from the bicep to the overtie, super sneaky, takes his left hand, keeps my hand where it is in the collar tie, doesn't let me get rid of it, and then just sits through on a really nice trip. We got Brandon in outside Ashi with an Achilles grip on Caleb here. Trying to get heel exposure, I assume for the heel hook, because he let go of the D-ball works wonders, yeah. 14, 15 years old, perfect time to stack it.
Yeah, your heart is in perfect condition.
Yeah. 13. Even better, man.
They don't test in high school, so you should be fine.
Yeah, you got years ahead of you. They don't drug test. It's great.
We're kidding. We are not condoning that at all.
Yeah. But do you really want to be the best you can be? No. Yeah, talk to your doctor. Talk to your pediatrician if TRT is right for you. My pediatric endocrinologist.
Yeah, right.
Has me on high doses of testosterone. Oh, jeez. Let's see. Just want to see how it looks like. I missed Caleb's transition here, so yeah. So Brandon's not managing to keep him down. Caleb starts peeling the legs open, drops the knee. Now Brandon's in some trouble. He's got his knees pointed away. He's got big old Caleb up there ready to smash, which he does. Right into mount. Yeah, 100%. I mean, Mika tested positive for Clomid, which I believe is what you take when you come off the cycle.
Yeah, that's right.
So you gotta wonder what was going on. Is Colt even in the chat? Cole might not be here to defend himself, which is the perfect time to talk smack about him.
Oh, yeah.
Josh, too. Josh isn't. I don't know, Josh better not be watching. He's like on his honeymoon.
He's 6 hours ahead.
Oh, yeah, man. Dude, there are some fascinating old supplement ads from like you know, just like Muscle and Fitness or whatever, the, you know, those old magazines, like
Yeah.
very, very illegal substances now that were just like over the counter.
Yeah, I missed the boat.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Caleb, I have the internet. That's why. The internet and curiosity, and that's, you can learn a lot that way, bud. Could help your jiu-jitsu even. Although
I'm
to
right.
to your credit, it looks like you don't need any help right now. You got the rear body triangle on Brandon. Let's see how you do with this hand fight. Got him straight jacketed up right now. But Brandon's getting pretty wily from here. Gets his hips out, switch to the high ball ride.
Brandon's looking pretty comfortable here.
Yeah. He needs to get, I mean, right here. Yeah, there we go. I was gonna say Caleb's got the underhook, so it was hard for him to turn towards that.
Right.
But I like what he's doing, using his legs to disrupt the high ball ride. Watch his top leg. He's looking with his bottom leg, but he realizes his top leg can get in here to disrupt, and once it does, slips right out.
I'm really glad to see him roll away like this. Like, I mean, normally we talk about, facing your partner and all that stuff, but if he did face, okay, I think I'm just gonna call out what eventually happens. But if he does turn to face Caleb, he ends up in the threat of an arm triangle, the Katagatame. I think that ends up happening here because Caleb's laying on some pretty tough pressure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Looks like he gets
caught now
here.
We've got the arm triangle.
Yeah.
Very nice. That was a good way to wait it out, Caleb.
Yeah, good escape from Brandon. And then yeah, the counter was on point. Faux show. Meanwhile, Braden is thrashing me around a bit. He does a good job here for briefly keeping my knees pointed away as I'm trying to like roll back into guard. Catch his head here for the counter. Gets his elbow down, back to his knees. This is what he wants to do in the way of early defense for Darces, anacondas, and whatnot. Keeping your chest pointed, especially in the case of a Darce, which I'm not like committed to it here. I think I'm more on the anaconda, but with like these head and arm positions, keeping your chest pointed in the same direction as your opponent will buy you some time in working towards the escape. It's not foolproof by any means, but if you think about how we like to talk about finishing Darces, either if you're on your side, you kind of lock your legs up and start to curl in while your chest is pointing at their chest, right? It's like you guys are kind of sort of facing each other. Or if you go into, like I like to do, if you go in all the way into mount, it's the same thing. Your chest is pointing towards your opponent's chest. So if you could prevent that, it keeps you further away from like the tight finishing position and can allow you to, it buys you time to work on your hand fight, work on getting your elbows down, opening your neck up a bit. Oh God, Andrew wanted to murder me today too.
Train with Braden here. Yeah, he came at me.
Wait, how did Danian? Did Caleb just sit? Okay.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, he just pulled.
Doesn't take long, man. Ooh. Austin looking sharp here. Let's look at this. So watch just above Mike here on the right side of the screen. We got Austin and Brandon. So from a distance, Austin sets up on this, yeah, this little ankle pick, turns Brandon with it, gets the back, and then hits this nice, kind of sit through Tani Atoshi.
That was nice. That was slick.
That was. So, look at this ankle pick, because this is interesting. He takes a grip here, like this revert, or like an inverted grip behind the ankle. The reason this is interesting to me is when we talk about ankle picks from standing, normally the hand that Austin's using to grab the ankle, it's normally collar tying, and Austin would ankle pick with this hand. Reason being, with the head under control and then the same side ankle pick, Brandon can't turn to his left because his head is under control and he goes down. When you use the cross side grip on on a standing ankle pick, you'd have collar tie with the left hand in Austin's case to the right side. That would work too. Like if Brandon turned to his left, he's going to slip the collar tie, but his foot stays somewhat captured. It's like the top of his foot would be impeded from running out by Austin's forearm. Now we switch it up. Austin goes cross-side grip, but inverts the grip and with no control of the head. This gives Brandon full ability to turn out of this. And when he turns, the forearm isn't there to block the foot. So Brandon can turn away very easily. If Austin doesn't have a follow-up to this, Brandon just gets out. It's not a big deal. So Austin sets this up. I think he's doing this to encourage Brandon to turn and expose the back, and he pulls right in to get back exposure from a standing position, which is like a really slick little technique. Let him turn away, let him be in danger. He turns out, you get the back. So if you if he didn't have control of the neck to finish a traditional ankle pick, says, well, maybe I'll just spin him around and get his back anyway. So it was really slick. Good move. Cade's ankle pick. Some match he had. That's right. You mentioned that. Might have to look that one up. Thought I was going to get to safety on Andrew here. I managed to get myself into cross ashi actually a couple times. I'll point this out. Andrew, I don't know if you're watching, but this was my very low energy, but still kind of miserable way of getting out of your mount. You were pretty committed to smothering me into riding up really high. So I just said, cool, that's fine. I'm not even going to try my elbow escape. I'm not going to try to kip. I'm just going to sneak both of my arms out, which is what I do here. You'll see me slip 1, 2, and then it's like, all right, just buck and move. And I could slip out. I immediately pull into cross ashi from there. But you did a great job controlling my head, which makes it very difficult for me to start like getting my grips, working on the ankles, buys you some time. And you take this time to elevate and then do a kind of a misdirectional escape, turning away from me to hide your heel and then turning back to me and pressuring in and getting your leg free. It was really good leg escape.
So Braden on the left-hand side against me, what I really liked was, so he was attacking, he came out, from north-south, goes out the back door, immediately starts jumping on my arm.
For that Choi bar.
Yeah, he was going exactly for that Choi bar, and I don't know whether, I can't remember if I was just tucking my arm really well or, I still have my arm, tucked in pretty deep. So I don't think he was able to extract it. Immediately comes back out, and then you'll see him go chest to chest with me, and attempt an over-under butterfly right here, right? But look what happens. So he extends out. I sprawl out to prevent him from being able to hit the sweep on me, and then he immediately goes into a clamp guard. So there's a really slick transition of, you know, kind of hitting a couple of roadblocks, right? Your partner is defending, but constantly flowing into the next, you know, attacking position, right? Not really accepting, you know, a stalemate necessarily, but just like constantly going into something more threatening. And you could see as he progresses, he's opening up more areas of vulnerability, right? I'm starting to leave my arms open. It's like, oh, okay, well now I've got to go up and defend the leg. So he goes and he attacks my arm. As I'm trying to defend my arm and I'm coming back up, he throws up the trap triangle and he starts attacking my other arm. So this was just a really great transition. I think he winds up getting this one. This is good.
Yeah, this is really nice. Looking more at a wrong way triangle here.
Yep.
Now he's squared back up. Gets the arm free almost. No. There we go. Now to the right triangle. Hell yeah.
No,
dude, that was sick. That was a really great. Everything about that was really good, really technical. Just to add to your point, here you could have he could have easily been flattened and then like lost gas and you know, had to deal with being flattened on his back. And like, yeah, getting the hips out right away was crucial. If he didn't do that, nothing that we just saw happen downstream would have worked out. He immediately gets to the hip and gets to work. That was awesome. That's what I hope they take away from it, man. I mean, you know, I think we can teach them jiu-jitsu way better than we could ever hope to teach them wrestling. But if we can impart some more technical knowledge into it and like get them to scramble more and not just gas themselves out quickly, like I think that could be a beneficial thing, crossing over from jiu-jitsu to wrestling.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him wrestle, to see how that how the synergy, you know, between the different grappling sports kind of comes together for them.
This season's going to be awesome, I think.
Yeah.
So let's see, is Caleb, I think it's Caleb and Danny right now.
Mm-hmm.
Danny doing everything he can to relieve some of this top pressure, using the lockdown. Caleb has the underhook though, or does he? No, Danny does. There we go.
Yeah, Danny's got the under. I think he was trying to go for an arm triangle from bottom.
So after getting smashed for the whole round, let's see how I get out from underneath Andrew's pressure here. So he goes for this grip over my trap, keeping him in my closed guard, but in doing that with reaching up to my trap, he gives me the underhook and I could establish a good shoulder crunch. So now I've got, you'll see me open my legs. I probably shimmy my hips back and forth a little bit, try to start stretching out the left side here. Now we're in this position where even though I have a shoulder crunch on his left arm, I can't really take him in this direction. So I think I start opting for the other side, unless he barrels back into me here. I don't remember. You see me stepping on his leg to try to prevent him from like climbing forward. Okay, so that's how it ended up happening. He ends up barreling forward. Just about. Honestly, I don't know if this probably wasn't the best move on his part. Yeah, once he kind of exposes his back to the mat there, it's just easy to take him over at that point. Let's see. What I was thinking is
he was trying to slide through.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna take him in this direction with like the reverse, the other shoulder crunch. variation. But yeah, as he slips his ass through, he's pretty much giving it to me at that point. Just again, I mean, no clear example of what happens when you can get somebody's hips over yours. You kind of dictate where they go from there. So now for 40 seconds, I get to pretend to smash him after all he did to me. Hell yeah, man.
Awesome. It's going to be a big year for them.
I mean, the matches we watched from them last year were awesome.
Dominant.
So
Yeah.
kids are going to be in trouble, man. The other kids, I mean. Here we go, me and Gavin.
I got Luke this round.
I'm so glad I didn't roll with Luke that night. I wanted to die.
Yeah, my hips were tight.
Chris and Caleb. Did we miss? This is Danny and Braden. Braden with the snap down. Front headlock and an underhook to put Gavin to the ground. But he does a good job of immediately finding space, getting his knee in, establishing his side guard there, getting that elbow knee underneath my body and framing. And then working back to guard. Sneaking out the back, and he finds my back. It's funny, I was listening to Bo Nickel on Jocko's podcast recently,
Yeah.
and he mentioned briefly, and I don't want to, I really don't want to encourage any stupidity on the part of the boys in the wrestling rule set, but Bo Nickel mentions how like he was not afraid of necessarily like doing sacrificial moves that exposed his back to the mat, which that can go wrong very quickly in folk style. But watching some of his matches, like the NCAA matches and stuff, you see that willingness show up, and it does really well for him. Like it got him, some game-winning points a number of times, and it'll be cool to see how or if Gavin and Braden use any of their jiu-jitsu prowess that wouldn't necessarily work well in wrestling, in like some more high-risk sacrificial situations. As I'm talking.
Yeah, it's really interesting to be able to turn that on and off.
Yeah.
I have a hard enough time with just jiu-jitsu, so
Dude, I'd probably
imagine throwing another grappling sport in there.
I would get pinned so fast in wrestling, probably.
Yeah.
Braden with the rear naked strangle. Yeah, man, I don't know. Chad is so lame with Josh or Cole or without Josh or Cole? Why don't you just marry Josh and Cole then? You chat with them all day. Where were you, Cooper?
I was having the hardest time to get to try and get anything going with Luke. It was like no matter what, he would start advancing on me. I was doing my best to retain guard. And then it would be like I would go on an attack, and then he would, it was just like back and forth.
Yeah.
Such a boring match.
Yeah, I don't know.
Forever though.
I like a boring match with Luke if it means I didn't tap.
Yeah.
Braden with a nice gator roll. Go ahead.
It was 0-0. This match was no points scored.
Yeah.
So I was really happy with that outcome.
Yeah, be the change you want to see in the world, Cooper. Make the chat interesting. I want to take a pause here. See how Chris got to his position with Caleb. So we got Caleb on top. So looks like Caleb goes to take the back here. There we go. Gets the knee up. I'm not sure why this failed. I mean, the knee, I'm going to assume the knee's pretty high up behind the back. We're looking here. My instinct says, Caleb, you may have tried to force this too quickly. Like, I do like to emphasize the control in this position in the chair sit, where you can just sit flat right to here, pull him into your lap, make sure everything is good to go before then rolling to your left. Whereas here, it kind of looks like back, you know, you do it in one motion, your back gets to the mat. I think he might be, I guess he had a little bit of space here for his shoulders to turn. And he rolls up with you and gets the turn.
Yeah, some people can beat that turn. I mean, Luke is somebody that comes to mind. He's really good at beating the chair sit.
Yeah.
By just thrashing like right into you as soon as you sit down.
Yeah. What's going on, man? Thank you for joining the chat, bro. How you doing? Blue belt from NorCal. I know nothing about the NorCal scene.
No.
I feel like any California jiu-jitsu stuff you normally hear coming out of like San Diego and everything.
Yeah.
Welcome to the chat. Oh, that sucks.
That's terrible.
we just had one of our students come back from like I don't even want to say how long of a layoff, just to not give you any false hope or bad feelings. But yeah, rib injuries suck, man. It's good on you for continuing to go to class though.
And watch, yeah.
One of our guys, not on camera right now. He's recovering from a torn pec, completely torn, and he still goes to class and is working through PT and still learning while he's sitting out. So it's the right thing to do. So let's see how Caleb gets to this. This is interesting. So we just had Chris reverse the position. All right. So I don't know if Pat's in the stream, and I'm not trying to pick on Pat at all, but I think the three of us have talked about his his lockdown. Sorry. And how it can be an easy spot to just kind of stall from, Here, Caleb does an excellent job using it to move Chris. He elevates him, gets his hands planted, and comes out the side. And immediately jumps into this triangle. This is super good, Caleb. I honestly, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't see you doing triangles very frequently. I feel like this isn't a technique you often throw up. This is a killer entrance too, like really good awareness. So out the side, catching Chris with his hand on the mat and sneaking that knee right up and through.
And
hell yeah.
Cole, I talked to Cole on Monday. He said that what did he say? He said that he was going to get another checkup in like 10 weeks or something like that. They haven't cleared him yet, so he doesn't know when he's going to be able to train again. But we're hoping soon.
Luke is going to trials and been hitting them more. Awesome. What was the aha moment? You mind sharing with the class so we could all get better instead of you being selfish and just triangling everybody? Gavin out the side with his own leg lock here.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, coming up into a Remy gets me off balance. He's opting this time, instead of to put me to my butt by pointing his knees in this direction, points in the opposite direction to get the heel exposure. And then now I roll through with it. and we're right to where I've been screaming at them to work on their finishing mechanics. So feet on the outside, immediately digging. Look at the heels. Look at his heels digging behind me to get much better hip thrust across the knee and a block on the back of my hips. This is going to hang his weight on me and make it much more difficult for me to initiate another turn, all the while he's putting on some really significant braking pressure. As always, looking for something to improve. The only thing I could think of from here, from remembering this spot, is continuing. Try not to let your knees turn at all. Like, minimize. Zero turn. Watch at the very end here, just looking at it like step by step. See, as you start to pull up and across, your knees kind of start to move. It's almost like you're rolling to your back a little bit. The way to tighten this up is, instead of like leading with your head, I want you to think about keeping your head low to the mat and elevating your hips up. Think about being able to slide a sheet of paper underneath your hips while keeping your head nice and low to the mat. So we're getting like, I'll go over that more with you, Gavin, but we're getting like closer and closer to, peak finishing mechanics on these heel hooks. This was a hard enough habit to drill into people, so that's a good spot. Now we're just gonna look at like the last millisecond before I tap, and that's it's gonna be very bad for all of us. Whatever, Caleb. Cole's a champ. Listen to his diet.
Yeah, I can't say that I would do the same as Cole.
Man, I mean, muscle tears, that would honestly, when I broke my arm, before I could tell if it was bone or muscle, I was more scared about the muscle being torn. Like, I was afraid I'd torn my rotator cuff, and I was praying for a bone break, because I'm like, that'll be so much easier.
Yeah.
If it was soft tissue, I would have just lost it. Let's see. Just think to control the head for the triangle posture. Never really thought about having one arm tight works as well. Luke was showing it by throwing arms through the legs. Arms through the legs, which helped a lot because I felt like I couldn't create room when people played tight. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. It's the worst aha moment I've ever heard, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
As long as it makes sense to you.
No, I think I follow what you're saying. You said control over the head, but I never really thought that having one arm tight works just as well. So I assume you're talking about the arm that is in the triangle. It's probably the one you're talking about. And I think by saying having that tight, you're referring to like having good control. Let's see where we're at. This is okay. Let's go find that triangle. Having good control over the arm will control the posture itself, is what I think you're saying.
Cooper's on fire.
Coop is being the change he wants to see in the world.
He is.
So you're really, I mean, let's think about it in terms of what you're saying, Caleb. You get your legs up, and I do see that you're really controlling Chris's arm here. You're making it a real focus. What's up, Password? How you doing, bro?
What's up?
You use someone's arm to control posture as well. Yeah, I got you. And yeah, I see that now that you're saying that. You've had 2-on-1 on that arm most of the time, rather than reaching up and pulling the head down, which the head pull in a triangle, I think is useful. I try not to rely on it. If I use it, it's definitely for posture control. And if you see me doing it at the end game of a triangle, it just means I sucked on my triangle, and I'm praying to God Steven taps, because it's usually on him.
What's up, Password? Yeah, I'm back, man.
Got on the right.
Doing good. Hope you are.
Mikey Mike. So yeah, no, that's an interesting point, Caleb, and obviously, yeah, whatever helps you with getting the sub. you really are focusing a lot on that arm, and it makes me wonder if okay, yeah, so Chris didn't tap to the triangle. He did actually tap to the arm
That
bar
was
here.
the arm bar. Yeah, that was a 3/4 GG. Yep.
Jesus, only 15 minutes. We've got so much more footage.
What's up, Bib?
Try to get it all in. What's up, bro? You know, you've been getting really good, and we just wanted to award you your blue belt. More so about creating room for the legs. Okay, I was going for an arm bar, lost choke. Gotcha. Either way, that was a great setup and great finish. We've got you and Mitch. Caleb hitting a big old double on Braden here from seated. Yoink. And did Luke just maul Danny to the ground? Nah. Danny kind of knew it was happening.
He just flopped.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Wrist lock the world. Brody. How you doing, Brandon?
What's up, Brandon?
Saw you get ankle picked savagely by Austin earlier. Can't let that punk do that to you, man. I get him back later, though. I ankle pick him here. I just end up in his guard, so it's not as cool. Let's see. We have Joe, new Joe, over here working with Chris. I think he's been hiding off to the side for most of the mat.
Oh, yeah.
We should revisit some 4-point breakdown stuff. Especially now that I think a lot of you guys are starting to utilize that instead of turtle to kind of stave off some takedowns. Be a good thing to sharpen back up. The second leg lock I picked up after the straight was the outside heel hook.
Oh yeah, it's my favorite.
Yeah, shit, you've been doing it since blue belt.
Yep.
It's I mean, it isn't crazy to me that was the second one you picked up, because if you think about off a straight ankle, if they boot their foot or turn their toes in and point them like towards your spine to like disrupt the straight ankle, all they're doing is giving you the heel exposure. So it's, those two are so closely related, and the hip connections aren't that, like they definitely have significant differences, but they're easy to switch between. So like you can absolutely make a game completely off those two things, like back to back. So that makes total sense.
Yep, I agree. I think that's why I transitioned to the outside heel hook. Trade off of it, you know.
Yeah, you've been doing that, like the Achilles lock into the, like you set up Achilles locks solely to go for outside heel hooks a lot of times. You've been doing that forever. So I really wanted to strangle Austin here. I was kind of putting to work the thing I was talking about a few weeks ago with like my T-Rex arms, the S grip of my T-Rex arms being as tight as the gable grip of an average person's arms, and relying on the tightness of my S grip and seeing what I can do with it. Austin was pissing me off here, trying to like ride up the body to get my angle away, but definitely had to like fall back on my own advice I give you guys of trusting the choke. Once I got settled in and I felt like I had it after I made a few adjustments with my strangle arm right here, It's like, all right, I'm gonna put him out with it. So it was nice to finish that with a. I believe I finished it with the S grip. Small, like your person 5'9", 125. Powerlifter was like 220. Yeah, that is my very much my existence. I'm not 125, but I guess I am about 154. But everybody else is like at least 30 pounds heavier than me.
Dude, I'm only 20 pounds heavier than you.
Shut up, dude. You just got back from Ireland. You're like half shepherd's pie. You're pushing 200 pounds right now.
There is healthy food in Ireland that is not shepherd's pie.
You're half shepherd's pie, half Guinness.
I didn't eat any of it. I did eat shepherd's pie and fish and chips and a lot of Guinness.
Let's see. Yeah. So just for Brandon, stupid little ankle pick on Austin.
Nice.
Austin messed up here just because he let me control his posture a little too long. So you can see right here, I'm just pushing the head down. I was looking for this ankle pick like steps before this. Right around here, you can look at my foot movement. I'm watching his feet the whole time, just seeing what'll bring his leg closest to me. There I had an opportunity. Like you'd see, watch his, he kind of cross steps right here. That would have been a really solid time to go down for it, but I just hadn't, I didn't have the timing right. So I see that, I look for my opportunity again. Heavy on the head. And then hit it. And he immediately locks up his close guard, so that was good on him. Trusting the choke doesn't work on Peters. Well, you got to have a good choke to strangle Peters. So start there. Rubber guard was my thing. The 10th Planet guy. Dude, it's a shame you didn't follow us like over a year ago maybe. One of our students, a killer blue belt, Steven, he was at a comp. We were all at a comp. I don't know if I was just coaching that day. And yeah, he was smoking everybody as I think he may have been just gotten a blue belt at that point. Right. Yeah. And yeah, some kid, tall, lanky, hit him with the Hindu teen or Hindu guillotine or whatever they call it. We were like, what? How do you prepare for that? Like none of us, none of us, I can't do it. And I don't believe in the people who say like, oh, anybody can do any of those moves. It's not about flexibility. A lot of moves are about flexibility in the 10th Planet system. But that was, if you're interested, you could dig way back in our YouTube and find one of our comp footage reviews and watch Steven get Hindu guillotined. Hit Justin with the same choke and cleaned it up the night after. Oh yeah. And you hit him with a mean S mount too, didn't you? Yeah, Cooper, you should learn it. You should. We'll find Hindu guillotine for you. Honestly, I'd rather you just get good at guillotines, but you can play with that one if you want. Make a return to the mats. Hell yeah, man. I mean, there are a few. There aren't many compliments we get from our students regarding this chat. It's normally all pretty pretty sarcastic and ungrateful. But the comments that mean the most, or the compliments that mean the most, are the ones where you guys tell us that you're learning stuff here, or if we inspire you to get back on the mats if you had time off, man. That's rad. That makes me real happy.
Yeah, that's badass.
So let's see how Danny and Andrew kill each other, since they both tried to kill me earlier. Maybe they'll both die. I hope they both choke each other unconscious.
Andrew said that he wrist locked Danny like really early.
I'll go back. I'll look for that in a second. Watch Luke and David over here. So David's gets the jump on Luke.
Probably a big sit out coming.
Chest
here.
over the head. Nope.
Oh.
Bam.
Damn. Cow catcher? Or what was that?
Yeah, it was a cow catcher,
That was
I think.
Nice cow catcher.
So these are 5-minute rounds. Let's see. Did Andrew catch something early? Be cool if he wrist locked Danny from standing. It'd be so embarrassing.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what he did.
So here they go down. Danny's legs. Play it from here.
Go all the way back to the beginning of the round. I don't want to miss Danny getting embarrassed. And
I don't think they tapped yet because this is a 5-minute round. So. Oh, unless. Damn, you're right. Right off the mercy grips right in the beginning. This is why I don't play those stupid grips with you guys.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
a left hand versus a right hand.
I'm pretty sure in wrestling you're not even allowed to interlace your fingers. Like you can't make that
I
grip.
don't think so. I think you can go palm to palm, but I don't think you can.
Yeah.
You can interlace.
Entertaining. I didn't forget entertaining. Is it weird that I can only finish arm-in guillotines on a regular guillotine?
Man, you know, when I did have some proficiency in guillotines before everybody got really freaking good at defending them, arm-in guillotines were what I liked the best, and the reason was the element of control. Like, it's so easy to parry, a no arm guillotine, right, or whatever you want to call it, a standard guillotine. But when you have that person's arm laced up, like, you can drag them all over the mat. You can control them in that front headlock position for such a long time. So for me, it doesn't seem surprising.
I would say it is weird to me that you finish arm-ins better than regular guillotines, but I think I'm very biased in that because I suck at arm-in guillotines. That's probably what that's coming from. I don't have long limbs to really consider your position. I mean, I think with your long arms, regular guillotines should be very doable for you, but you may want to consider your grip, where you can look at something like the Marcelo Teen, the high elbow, throwing the elbow over the back, or even something like, if let's just assume you're getting the point of your elbow to the point of all the way to the point of their chin, under their neck, but on your chin, or I'm sorry, at the chin on the neck. Your fingers should be nice and high. Your wrist should be high. You can do a power grip like this where you're pushing it over, or you could look at some of the more recent stuff. Gary Tonin, when he gave us a seminar a few weeks ago, was talking a lot about the high wrist position, right? Was it high wrist position he called it? Because there was high elbow, and then the high wrist position where you don't even necessarily need to control your arms, or I'm sorry, connect your arms. But yeah, I would revisit your guillotines and just think about where your elbow position is relative to their chin. That way you're really actually getting a strangle and not just like crushing their trachea, and hurting their neck in that way, which may suck, but a lot of people can kind of like, withstand that pressure and fight through. So you don't fall to a brown belt skill level. I don't think that'll happen at your school, man. I think you've got more than enough people there to keep you beating ass. No arm-in guillotine feels so natural. My hips are so far to my opponents. Okay, so that's interesting then. It's like a transition to butterfly. There's too much space between me and my opponent. Very easy to take the back with the arm exposed, but I suck at catching arm bars in general. So again, this may be like a height thing. Like maybe you've just got, like it's easy for you to sit and your hips are close to your opponent's hips. Another thing to consider with your guillotine, make sure that your chest is like over the back of their head and neck. Like I know that seems kind of simple, but in the finish for it, if you've got everything nice and tight and then you go to like lean back and your chest slips and is closer to like the point of their head rather than the very back of their head and like covering chest to the back of the head, that's going to give them room to maneuver and possibly find space. Think more about, instead of like the fall and the extension, think about falling to your side and crunching everything in. Like I wouldn't want to see you extending your spine in the guillotine. I'd rather see you doing a side crunch, which will keep your chest over the back of the head if you set it up properly, and it will keep it there and put some twist into the strangle, not just a pull, which past white belt is not really enough. People are going to find their ability to withstand discomfort, and that won't be enough to make anybody tap. So think about the side crunch, like you're working your oblique, and using that for your finish. See how that works for you. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do a good guillotine. I can guarantee you there's absolutely nothing special or different about your body that would make a guillotine not possible or not effective. It's just going to come down to the finishing technique.
One other thing to consider in terms of like how you could think about finishing the guillotine is, once you have the strangle arm set in, is almost trying to go around the person. So if I've got, with my right arm, I've got the strangle arm set in, I'm actually going to start going around the left side and try and take my chest up and over top of their back. That, number one, that promotes the crunch that you really need, that side oblique crunch that Matt's talking about. And it also just gives you a lot more pressure down on top of the head in order to get the chin to the chest and make it even more uncomfortable for your partner. A lot of times, like Matt's saying, we rely on the extension, or even when we do try to apply that oblique crunch, we're not over top of like where the neck meets the back, right? We're like right at the crown, or like right at the base of the head, if you will. And that's so easy for your partner to just slip out of the strangle. So another thing to consider.
Working from doing some half guard passing here, but I don't know, you might actually call it more open guard, since I'm standing here against Chris. I pointed this out a few streams ago, where normally I put my right hand in this case, to the cross-side shoulder, and I will step my left leg in against the hip. In this variation, I don't get my hand to the shoulder. Might have just been being lazy, but I managed to use this to turn the corner. So as I step in, I'm past Chris's top knee, and now I can just settle into a spot where I can pressure a little heavy. Here I go in for a Kimura grip. Once I get that set, bring my knee up across and try to work on the pass from there. Chris was trying to get his legs in to disrupt the grip. I don't think I was too successful in working from the back here. He forces me to a high ball, and I try to switch to a crossbody. But he was playing hard to get here, so. Danny riding up very high to a triangle. Andrew was lucky there to sneak that arm back in. I think he makes a bit of an error here. Maybe not an error. I mean, I guess a forced error. Danny steps over. If Danny steps over my arm like that, I'm not fighting to get my arm in. I'm focusing on getting my other arm out. Kind of like I did on Andrew earlier, where I went to 2 arms out. If Danny doesn't have control of my right arm, in this case, Andrew's right arm, I'm slipping that thing out and just going out the back. I don't want to rely on Danny making an error in keeping his knees together to try to sneak my arm back in. And then I'm still just stuck in mount anyway. Mitchell with the huge reap.
No way, Cooper. Go
Well,
as much as possible. Just drink your milk. Get your protein in. You'll be fine.
yeah, and use that lemon as a mouth guard for sure.
Damn right.
Um, do you think I would be super sore if I start going to the gym? You'd probably be sore initially, but you're so young that like your body will bounce back so quickly from lifting. Man, the best thing I could tell you is just work on your form immediately. Rick, maybe Rick can give you a lot of advice too as a experienced power lifter. So just don't be like everyone before you and make the mistake of not focusing on your form early on. Pat trying to be sneaky, trying to shoot. Luke not having it. Caleb working for his body lock pass. Did you sit to guard against Caleb?
Yeah.
I won't do it anymore. I just make him sit. Or I say I won't roll with you. Let's see Luke's pass here. So Pat Turtle takes a
Just
shot.
make sure you eat, Cooper. You gotta eat.
Yeah, you gotta eat like it's a job, man.
Yeah, man.
Oh, you have a coach who you're gonna work with? Whatever, dude. Yeah. Eat a lot, sleep a lot, be patient. Don't ego lift. You're not gonna learn any of these lessons until you learn them the hard way yourself. But
Yeah,
that's my advice.
I do all of those things in the wrong, not in the right.
Dude, my favorite was when you started working out and I was talking to you about the 5-3-1 program.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I don't do deload weeks. Like, nah, I max heavy. Like, I hit maxes every time. Wow, I'm not going to do a deload week. I'm like, all right. Like a month later, you're like, damn, dude, I need a deload. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta find out the hard way.
Deload weeks are the best weeks. So Luke with the kind of a side triangle. Actually, how does he finish this year? So
Thanks for tuning in, man.
yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Hope your rib gets better fast.
Yeah.
Go enjoy class. So from a dorsal Kimura position,
Hunt. Yeah.
and this
Oh, he's
sucks.
got that triangle now.
That arm
ish.
being stuck there hurts the shoulder so much.
Yeah, it does.
And then right, I think
Yeah,
Pat just knows.
You think it's the right thing to do, and then you're like, oh, well, I've lost both my arms. You're yeah, that's a terrible spot.
Yeah.
Speaking of terrible spots, Caleb has me in the nastiest north-south strangle ever.
So this is what you two were talking about last night, right?
Dude, yeah,
Or
and I
Monday
stay in
after
it for like
class.
2 minutes.
Yeah. And you could tell you're really turning towards him, driving your
Yep.
face in towards his lat to take away the strangle.
Yeah,
Which
I'm
that sucks
prepared
when
to
that's
die.
all you can do.
yeah.
Prepared to die. Another quick armbar from Luke here. This time, Luke's working from top half. And this was... What did we go over that night? I think we went over something akin to that on Tuesday, but not on Monday. Yeah, Monday was more, I think it was focused more on guard passing, I believe. But Luke establishes a 2-on-1, kicks his knee shield out, and from here, Luke's got Pat's arms on the same side of his body, or like, they're directly in front of Luke. They're not one arm on each side of Luke's body. And this is full back exposure. If you can't hike your hips up over the back, he's got triangles from here, depending on how Pat sets up. It looks like he's got a triangle grip, but I think like a triangle with his legs, but both arms are still in. But he's gonna He's going to hang all of his weight off Pat. Pat's not going to be able to sit up out of this. And I believe he switches, I don't think we see it, but he switches to an Americana on the right arm. I know that's one of Luke's favorite go-tos from here, but he's got, you know, the Americana, he's got an arm bar. He can go Choi bar on the far arm. He can set up into a triangle if Pat puts his left hand to the mat. There's so much stuff here. Okay, yeah, I forgot we already saw what happened. Collects both arms, and then it's pretty easy separation to get the regular arm bar.
That was almost like a side dead orchard because he had both the arms in.
Yeah, kinda.
So Caleb, I think you passed my guard and went immediately into north south. I can't. Yeah, can you back up to see? Yeah, it was here. I put you in. I thought I was going to be able to sneak out the back door, but you snatched my head up pretty quick. So I started, you go into side control. I did not want to stay in side control with you, so I put myself in north-south, and you obliged and went straight into that, into the strangle.
And the rest is
and I stay
awful.
there for a while.
Until he was finally just frustrated.
Yeah, I was doing my best to try and peel off some of the shoulder pressure, and then when you went to go readjust, I slipped my head underneath, and then you could see that I'm immediately going for 2-on-1 grips. I think you all know that I enjoy that. And as soon as I was able to pull you in with those 2-on-1 grips, I did the same thing. I was taking, you know, a lot of what you were doing earlier to Chris, I think. And I went straight into a trap triangle and started attacking threatening the had the threat of the strangle, but I was attacking arms at the same time. So what you can't see here is I'm taking Caleb's left arm and I'm trying to break it across my hip. And then as soon as I can, I scoop under, I trip his legs up, I put him down on his side, and then I actually switch to a Kimura.
Yeah, I was wondering what that final was.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is where you're attacking the straight arm.
Yep.
Get him over, go to the Kimura. Slick.
Yep.
Man, now I know why you were so frustrated, Caleb. after
Dude,
this roll.
I was dead.
That's good, Coop. If you're gonna not be training, if you're not gonna be at class,
May as well be training.
I'd like, yeah. If you're not gonna train, you may as well train. No, it's good that you're gonna get some lifting under your belt. It's a good age to start, man. I started when I was 14. I just never stopped. I was fortunate though that it was a class, and I wasn't gonna fail PE, of course. In fact, I was gonna ace it and be the best one in the class, which I was. And I will. I don't mind bragging about that if it's weightlifting. But yeah, do it young, make it a habit, and never get out of it, man. This was a good choke.
Yeah, I started when I was 34.
Hey,
I regret every minute of it.
the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time, today.
Right now.
Chinese proverb or something. Yeah, it just adds insult to injury, Caleb. And then now you're just trying to rip his head off.
I was watching the clock.
Yeah, I bet. Let's see. So with Brandon here, I set up to an arm bar, but he keeps his head inside. So now we're, he's got me in a bit of a pickle here. I need to either switch to an arm bar, get him back to the ground, try to finish it there, whatever. So we get him over, but he does a killer job defending this. He didn't like my typical little trick where I just stop yanking on the arm, and then all of a sudden yank very hard on the arm. Didn't break. So I slipped my legs into a position where I could switch to a triangle. Watch me hit. I don't have, this is not like a good position for an armbar anyway. But he had my legs kind of tangled up with his a little bit. So transition out of that. Once I slip the head under him, once I slip the leg under his head, I need to get my right leg through his arms to effectively hit to be able to effectively transition to a triangle. So here I set that up. He knows what I'm doing here, and he has a really great reaction in not fully posturing up all the way, but just going to the position where he tries to sit to the like the seated triangle escape, where he gets the feet in the armpits or crossed up over the body. I tighten my triangle up, but now the problem this is something I need to work on as well. The problem with this triangle escape is I think it does matter which leg you put over first. If you're gonna sit to this and you have an arm trapped, you always have an arm trapped in a triangle. So if you're gonna sit to this, the first leg that should go over top of the chest should be the leg that is opposite the arm that is in the triangle. So in this case, it would be better for Brandon to put his left leg over my chest first. Why? As he's, it looks like he does there, but actually, does he? Yeah, he kind of does. But notice the break comes from when this right leg that corresponds to the arm that's inside the break, that's where I can go on to switch for the arm bar. It's kind of like it gets in its own, it gets in the way a bit. It's a better way to put it. I feel like it offers a better fulcrum for when I'm trying to break that arm. I think that's probably just the best way to say it. Here, now that I'm talking about it, it's fallen apart just because this isn't maybe the best example. If you think about Brandon getting the legs over first and then me extending the arm, it might make a little bit more difference or a little bit more sense, which in that case, his right arm would be on top of his right leg, and then, I'd have a higher fulcrum. Here, I think I just had enough bite on the arm to make it work for me. But for anybody who does this move, again, myself included, I'm normally doing this as a late stage escape when I'm in some trouble. Be mindful of which leg you're putting over first. If your right arm is in the triangle, put your left leg over first, and vice versa. Pib, thank you. If that corroborates, if you agree, I've done it both ways. Like I've messed it up before and gotten armbarred, and I've tried to correct from there ever since. But yeah, if that's matches with your experience, that makes me feel better about it. Engineer and an arborist? Yeah, dude. Sunday, nothing? Nothing on Sunday?
Sounds like opportunity.
Come on, bro. That's the Lord's Day. Lord doesn't want you to rest. Not on Sunday. Hockey on Friday. Man, hockey would crush me. Cool. Thank you, Pib. Yeah, let's see. I think this just turns into a powwow between the three of us over here. Can we keep everybody on screen? I think so. This might be best. So we got Danny working from top half guard into a Kimura. Often a good way to pass Chris's guard. I think we've talked about that a lot. The threat of submission. Great way to pass, especially with Chris, who always manages to get a leg back in. Here he's doing a good job keeping his own arm in a safe position, not letting it get behind his back. Flat to the mat's bad enough, but Danny gives him enough to think about between keeping his arm safe and keeping his legs closed. Now he's in some trouble. Danny's got a nasty darce. Ah, there it is. Just since we have one on camera, this is the point I was making earlier about buying yourself time with the darts. The finishing position, the chests are pointed towards each other, right? That's typically how you see these finished. So if you can manage to point your chest in the same direction as your opponent, in this case, if Danny's chest is pointed, you know, the line coming out of his chest would be pointed this way. Chris is pointed that way. If Chris could manage to like be parallel with Danny, like say in a turtle position with Danny on top, then Chris' chest would be pointed in that direction. Those are all the arrows I'm going to draw.
And Danny's preventing that by hooking the leg.
Yeah. Just kind of looking to backstep there, but not going anywhere with it. So let's see how Chris operates from top half. Danny's working his
Did the lockdown.
yeah. Chris is kind of letting it happen right now, though. He's not doing too much to fight it. There we go. Establishing head and arm with a nice flared elbow. And looking to knee cut out of this, it looks like. Danny's got a twist on that leg. Might be able to roll Chris here. Nope. Lost his opportunity. Damn, Chris. I wish he had kept that head and arm control.
Andrew's got a good look at the back here on Brandon. They're on the right-hand side, but Brandon's, again, he's looking composed. He's looking very comfortable defending from the back. Oh, and then Andrew making a good switch to an arm, to the arm bar.
Was Andrew in a... It looked like he was in a rear triangle. Like he was riding so high. He's got the leg over the shoulder.
He was, but I don't think that he ever... and maybe he was trying to do that by pulling Brandon down, but I don't think he ever got a good enough angle to really be threatening with it. I think it was just over top of the shoulder.
Yeah. Oh, Pib, thanks for the gift sub, man.
Thank you.
Cooper, say thank you. Say thank you or you're going to get a timeout. Pib, you're the man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much. I wish it went to anybody but Caleb, but thank you. Appreciate the generosity, bro. Much too kind. Damn, Brandon is staying safe and countering here with a leg attack.
Yeah, he is.
Only stopped by the wall. Meanwhile, let's see. I just want to see how Danny and Chris end this round. So it looked like Chris was trying to transition into the leg. Yeah. Are they gonna go way too far off? Caleb, stop spamming the chat. Oh yeah, I forgot. You can't use any of the emotes, so now you're going to use all of them. That's fine. That's fine. You enjoy it. You little white belt. So we got Joe and Danny. Joe's one of our newer students. Glad to see him working some of the stuff he's been learning. So he gets behind, hits the takedown. Danny establishes bottom half guard. He's working this, so Danny's working this low half guard. This is That's right. This is what we went over in class that day. It was kind of 3 ways of passing this low knee shield half guard. But yeah, Joe didn't move fast enough on it, so Danny starts to get his. I think we could zoom in on this. Danny starts to get his shield back in. Released from the prison you put yourself in by not subscribing to us, Caleb. You understand that, right? So Danny was able to get his frames back in from that bottom half guard. And now he's on the attack. And we got Mitchell and Brandon here too. There we go. So a little bit kind of dangerous, a little lazy posture here from Joe. Keeping his head a little too low. This is going to be, easy wrestle up situation for Danny. Gets the shoulder over the crown of the head. Gets his legs out and now can come up on top and make some misery. I make like 2 cents off ads. I think it's because our viewership is so low. You're lucky I turned off pre-roll ads when we started the stream. Or mid-roll. That way you guys don't get interrupted. Because I care. Looks like Danny let him go out of this. Bad spot. Bad spot. Well, thank you for watching and spending all your free time on our subpar stream. Big turn by Danny. We're just gonna turn it into reaction stream anyway and just start looking at other people's content and making dumb faces and sounds over it. Until we're popular. Be like XQC. So if Joe, okay. I was gonna say if Joe could get his hips up here, he'd basically be getting out the same way we saw Brandon getting out earlier, where Danny doesn't have much purchase on the legs, but Danny gets his hips up and out first. A little sloppy from him there, but good example of hip height winning the battle, winning the scramble. Do the pay to talk thing, you gotta buy bits, dude. So in the chat where it says where you can type your message, there's that little diamond button. Click that, go buy some bits, and then for a minimum amount of bits, you can do text to speech messages. And I want you to do that too. Until I time you out. All right. Thank you so much for all the good messages and all the generosity, Pib. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it, bro. And for everybody else tuning in from around the country and around the world, super rad. We love having you guys drop in on our humble little stream and add to it. It always makes it better. Let's see. We've got in 9 days, Coach Luke is competing at the IBJJF Charlotte Open. So hope you guys are going to class, really trying to mess him up, try to injure him, try to make it, a bad day for him. You'll only make him stronger. So you're helping him when you do that. Have a good one, Pib. Thank you, bro. What else? Are you teaching? No, that's in October. Never mind. That's in a couple weeks. I'm teaching, and then I think you were covering another class or something. But yeah, we'll keep it there. Follow us always if you guys like what we're doing. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Caleb. And follow us here, subscribe. You could use your Twitch Prime. Don't rely on the generosity of strangers like Pib. You could subscribe before that. And subscribe over at YouTube as well. We'll post this for you guys to review. Let's see. Anything else? Luke's competing.
I don't think so.
I think that's about it. All the
Yeah.
news. So, good stuff, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Go trim your nails and do your laundry and don't be stinky. And we'll see you guys back at class. Take it easy.
Later.